Hi, and welcome to part 3 of this video series on mental capacity. In this final presentation, we'll be looking at best interests and inherent jurisdiction. If a person has been assessed as unable to make a decision, any decision on behalf of the person must be in their best interests, and it must be the least restrictive option available. The best interest discussion must involve all interested parties. It's important to establish the person's views and wishes, as these should be paramount to the care planning process. The Mental Capacity Act introduced the lasting power of attorney for health and welfare and finances. It also introduced the Court of Protection for Vulnerable People and the Office of Public Guardian to protect the rights of vulnerable people. The Office of Public Guardian registers all lasting powers of attorney and ensures that attorneys are fulfilling their duties. They can conduct safeguarding investigations where there's been mismanagement or the attorneys are not acting in the person's best interest. If someone lacks capacity, it's imperative that you refer for an independent mental capacity advocate to help gather their views if there is no one to represent them. So if they've got no family or friends, please refer for an independent mental capacity advocate if the decision to be made falls into one of two areas. Firstly, serious and medical treatment including do not attempt resuscitation orders, and secondly, a change of accommodation. They can also represent individuals who are the focus of safeguarding procedures. For anything else, it would be a care advocate that supports. There's also powers for independent mental capacity advocates under the deprivation of liberty safeguards, where they will go and check that the person's rights are upheld. The Mental Capacity Act also gave us advanced decisions to refuse treatment. If someone lacks capacity and they are deprived of their liberty, for example not being free to leave, certain conditions need to be met. So if the person lies in a care home or hospital, deprivation of liberty safeguards can be used to authorize the deprivation. The Mental Health Act can be used to detain someone in hospital against their wishes who are suffering from mental illness, and the Court of Protection can give a court order to deprive people of their liberty. There is also inherent jurisdiction of the High Court, which concerns vulnerable people who may have capacity but are being influenced by a third party. This slide discusses inherent jurisdiction and how it applies. The person does not need to lack capacity, but they need to be under coercion and control or undue influence that is affecting their ability to make an informed decision. Liberty protection safeguards are going to replace deprivation of liberty safeguards in the future. Whereas DOLS applies to people who lack capacity, only in care homes and hospital, LPS will apply to people who lack capacity in any setting who are subject to restrictions and are deprived of their liberty. It will apply to people aged 16 years and above. There will be 3 assessments needed, and these 3 assessments collate into something called the pre-authorization review. As a part of the pre-authorization review, the assessor has to state why those restrictions are in the person's best interest, why there are no least restrictive options available, and why they are necessary and proportionate to the level of harm that could be suffered if those restrictions were not in place. You will see the links on the screen to the Social Care Institute of Excellence. They have lots of training packages on mental capacity and deprivation of liberty safeguards, and loads of supporting information, and it's free to access. There's a link to the Court of Protection Hub. There's a link to 39essex.com where you'll find case law that's written in plain English about all the different topics in relation to mental capacity and DOLS. Then there's Bailey, which is basically the case law website where all the judicial decisions are published. Thanks for watching. Please check out the other videos, resources and training courses available at www.rochdalesafeguarding.com.